Let's see. Oh boy, there we go. Send it to kick. Ew, there have been a lot of bots in my kick group lately. That's not good. Hey guys, how's it going? Little Malrina, hey guys. Hey, how's it going? Oh, good to hear from you, Jules. All right. Ooh, gosh. Let me get... I'm doing good. Hey, are you guys doing all right with that crazy-ass snow that's been going on here? I haven't gone anywhere today, and I literally fucking hate it. I don't like going anywhere when it snows, and neither does my mom and everybody, so I've just been stuck in my house all day, and I hate that even more, but it is what it is. And I hope you feel better, Jules. I had to think for a minute. I'm like, wait, but yeah, no. I hope you feel better. I hope you feel better, Jules. I can't talk right today like in every episode. Okay, we'll keep this here, because that's the book that we're going to be reading. Oh, no. I really need to kind of push this back a bit. Do that. There we go. Yeah, I do, Rena. Oh, I found it at my work. They were going to recycle it, and I've been wanting this book for a while because I've messaged and talked to the author a couple times. He does the ghost tours down in Main Street, St. Charles. I've never been on one, but I'd like to. And he's a really cool guy, and I've always wanted his book. But I found it, and I picked it up, and I'm really happy to have it. I mean, I can understand probably why they got rid of it. It has like a little... Hold on, you can't see that really well on camera. It has just like a little nick in the corner, but I don't really care. It's still a great book, and it's a book I've been wanting for a while. So we're going to be reading this book today, and oh my god, it's been 5 minutes already? Fuck, let's start. So hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome to Cryptocast, your source for all things crypto-related, unknown, and paranormal. I'm your host, Parker, and welcome back to another Cryptocast live stream. Yep, so today, as you saw, we're going to be reading the book. Hold on, I can't do this. There we go. It's mirrored for me, Ghost of St. Charles. And this is written by a local author, Michael Henry. He does the ghost tours of Main Street, St. Charles, which I have visited multiple times. Oh no, your street's completely snowed? Oh, fuck. No, I hate snow so much. I just want it to go away. Like, literally, when I was younger, I watched Frosty Snowman. I sympathized with the kids. Because I'm like, no, I want snow days every day. And now that I'm an adult, I sympathize with the guys going around with that Snow Be Gone spray, and they're spraying it. And I'm like, yeah, they're right. So, crazy shit, man. But we're going to be reading this book today. And the back of it's really cool. Byways of Historic St. Charles. Let's read the back of it. Tour the haunted byways of historic St. Charles. St. Charles is the second oldest city in Missouri and one of the oldest cities in the United States. For most of its history, it could have been featured in any bad Western movie with a legacy of street shootings and lynch mobs. When you sit on the banks of the Missouri River, it does not take much of an imagination to see, feel, and perhaps even smell the ghosts lingering there. The scoundrels, the criminals, and the victims of traumatic events are the spirits that cannot or will not rest. Join Michael Henry for some of their stories as he keeps vigil with representatives of the city's restless past, from the lost dogs of the Lewis and Clark expedition to the mysterious lady in white, who I actually have a picture of on my phone. But yeah, in Main Street, St. Charles, there is allegedly ghost dogs. They walk down the street and they're half phased through the cobblestone and they're just like halfway phased through the cobblestone, still walking. Was it the mother-in-law restaurant? Yeah, it seems like mostly my Missouri peeps are in the group chat right now, like in the live chat. So, heck yeah, guys, if you ever want to come down, do a ghost tour with me, I'll have to look at prices, but I'd be down to do that one day. I get some of my other friends as well. Jules, if you want to get Jana, we can definitely get a big ghost hunting group tour down there. Oh my god, no, Jules. I have a ghost that I caught on camera, that I took from the street and it's in the attic of the mother-in-law's restaurant when it was still in business. And they used to have on the wall when you walked in, like, a picture of of the original owner of the house. And when I compared the picture to the two pictures side by side, it looked just like her peeking out of the attic window. I'll have to show you guys here. I know I've shown you guys before, but here, let me show you again. So this is the lady in white that my friend captured sitting on the bench. It's kind of hard to see, possibly because of the glare, but you can clearly see there's like a light. You can see like a leg hanging over there. You can see like arms and everything, but you can clearly see, like, it looks like somebody's sitting on that bench right there. That was the one my friend actually captured, which is really cool. And then this is hard to tell, but this is from the mother-in-law's restaurant. But if you look top middle window, you can see a face. Look back a little bit, you can see hair, and look down, you can see the full body. So yeah, you can see the face, the ear, the hair, straight down the whole body, and it's just the lady peeking outside the window from the attic, which I was really happy when I got that. And so my friend and I, we both got 2 pieces of paranormal evidence from Main Street, St. Charles that day, which is very, very nice. Oh, fuck yeah, we should see Rocky. Wait, no, wait, holy fuck, The theater's back? Did they repair it already? Did they really repair that? I'm fucking happy, man. I love the Dollar Theater. Well, let's read Ghosts of St. Charles. To the women who created me, Carla Henry, my wife, Carolyn Scott, my mentor, Karen Johnson, my teacher, and Terry Baker, my best friend. Oh my god, that's so awesome! And yeah, I'll send it to you over Messenger, probably after the stream, Galaxy, just remind me. And I'd be more than happy to send that to you. And honestly, guys, I have honestly been in the shits for like the past month or so, and today I actually feel surprisingly well. So, made up with an old friend, so I'm really happy about that, and I've been feeling so much better since then, and yeah, I'm actually doing a lot better today, guys. I feel like I have more energy now, so I'm doing better. I am doing better. So, introduction. In 1803, the United States purchased 828,800 square miles of land from France. This transaction, known as the Louisiana Purchase, doubled the size of the United States. The U.S. government paid 60 million francs, or $11,250,000, plus cancellation of debts worth 18 million, which is worth 3,750,000 American dollars. For a total of about 15 million. On March 10th, 1804, a formal ceremony was conducted in St. Louis to transfer ownership of the territory, effective October 1st, 1804. The eastern boundary of the Louisiana Purchase was the Mississippi River, from its source to the 31st parallel. However, the source of the Mississippi was unknown at that time. The western boundary was unknown, but according to the treaty, it followed the Sabine River to the 32nd parallel, ran due north to the Red River, and then followed the 100th meridian along the Arkansas River to its headwaters. Oh, thank you, Jules. I appreciate it. But yeah, for my Missouri peeps, I was thinking, I made a Snapchat post about it a while back, but yeah, for those of you who don't have me on Snapchat, just hit me up after the stream. I'd be happy to add you guys, but I've been thinking about making a ghost hunting group that, there's like a lot of haunted places around our area. And I was thinking about getting together a ghost hunting group, and we could go explore those places and all that stuff. So, yeah, just hit me up if you want to. I haven't made the group yet, but hit me up so I can add you on Snapchat, and then I can make the group from there, because I really want to make a ghost hunting group for Missouri peeps. So I can, yeah, there's like so many haunted places here, like around our area. And thank you, Rena. But yeah, no, there's a lot of sketchy places around here that I would love to visit again and visit for the first time. Yeah, no, there's like so many urban legends and hauntings, like, just look it up, guys. I'll explain like in the group chat once I make it, but it's crazy shit that happens here, man. It's crazy shit. I've also been kind of feeling like maybe at some point I want to move out of Missouri. It just doesn't really feel like there's much here for me. I don't know for sure, but I'm still kind of thinking on it, so whatever. Oh, I can also make like a Facebook group too as well. Yeah, I can make a Facebook group. I can also make a... Oh, fuck yeah, no, that's definitely on the list, Jules. And hey, Kat, how's it going? Yeah, no, yeah, so, yeah, guys, just hit me up after the stream on Discord or Messenger or Snapchat or whatever, because I really want to get this group formed and everything, because I think that would be really cool. So, hit me up, guys. Hit me up. The eastern boundary of the, let me see, Headwater, where was Headwater? That was the last word that I read. Headwater, Headwater. There it is. From there, it ran due north to the 42nd parallel and west to the Pacific Ocean. Cahokia, founded in 1699, is the earliest French settlement still in existence. Soon after, Kaskaskia, that's it, was established in 1703, followed by a series of other Vincents on the Wabash. Settlements by the French on the west bank of the Mississippi, I can't even talk tonight, Jesus Christ. On the west bank of the Mississippi, modern Missouri, includes St. Genevieve and New Madrid by St. Louis, St. Charles, Carindale, St. Ferdinand, now Florissant, and Portage de Sioux. Yeah, Florissant, it's a nice area, but I wouldn't want to drive through that at night. It's a nice area, but it's kind of sketchy. Yo, I saw that. I'm just kind of skimming a bit just to see. Yo, I've seen almost every single place here in this book. Wait, was that what I think it is? I'm getting excited. Ah, no, it wasn't. Yo, I know where that one is, too. Yeah, no, I've legit seen, 95% of these places in this book. St. Louis was founded in November of 1763 when Pierre Laclede Leguest and his band of traders from New Orleans landed where a small creek flowed into the Mississippi River. Though not spectacular, the village's growth was steady in the later years of the 18th century. Oh, dude, no, I want to hear those stories. Fuck it, guys. Honestly, pretty much everybody watching with me right now is on Discord. If you guys are up for it, I could just make a little yeah, no, if you guys want to, I don't know if you're down for it, but I could make a tiny little group, a private group on Discord, and we could just get into a voice call and we can talk about our experiences and shit. If you guys are down. The Mississippi River was narrow and swift, but the frontier trading post soon became the most important most important village for hundreds of miles around. A short distance upstream, the Missouri and Mississippi rivers meet. The Illinois, Merrimack, and Ohio rivers all contribute to the flow. Intrepid adventurers soon made their way up the Missouri River to establish St. Charles. In the days when the primary means of transportation was water, it made perfect sense to establish an outpost here. The first Western settler built a permanent structure in St. Charles about 1750. At that time, the settlement was called Les Petites Côtes, Little Hills, which is why on Main Street, every August, we have Festival of the Little Hills. Soon after, there was a dispute over the ownership of the property, and rather than fight this resident, the first resident simply moved on. We know only that he was French and his wife was Native American. His name and his legacy are lost to history, which is actually very, very sad. Oh, not too much. I was just talking about maybe I can make like a little private Discord group and we can all get into a call at some point and just talk about our experiences if you're interested. Um, According to tradition, in 1769, Louis Blanchette built a log cabin at the future St. Charles on the banks of the Missouri River. After spending several months here, he saw great possibilities in fur trading. He went back to Canada, and the following spring, he and his followers established the fur trading post. This was the only white man's settlement in the vast wilderness extending north from Canada and west from the Mississippi to the Pacific. From this secure location, Canadian voyagers laden with goods for Native American trade departed and then returned with furs. The first fur transaction, translated from the original French, reads, I received from John Baptiste Pillier for the account of Baptiste Point du Sable 3 packs of cats, 6 deer skins, and a color of which are, we don't know that, a dozen eggs from Monsieur Pellier for having bought the 3 packs from Chicago, the 30th of June, 1796, for Francoise Druget, signed John Baptiste Gigon. Heck yeah, I am. Yeah, I want to get like a cool local ghost group together and just go like on investigations and stuff. And I mean, of course, we'll film it for the channel and everything. And I think that'll be really cool, guys. Yeah, if you guys are interested, just fucking let me know. I have some friends who don't have Discord that are going to be interested as well. So I might make a Snapchat group as well. We can have more people in the Snapchat group and the Discord group and maybe even a Facebook group, just for the people who are really, really interested in this, because I think it would be really fun. And I do know, as well as some of my other friends do know, a lot of good haunted places in the area, and we can check it out. I was supposed to go to Missouri State Penitentiary back in November, but due to some scheduling conflicts, we had to cancel the event. So I was kind of bummed about that. Not gonna lie, but we'll get there eventually. I'm really curious about it. In 1789, Blanchette was first of 3 commandants appointed to the Spanish. In contrast, the residents of the area were French in both language and culture. In 1793, a brick structure was built on the foundation of Blanchette's home, replacing the original log building. Today, it is the oldest existing structure in St. Charles. Archaeologists continue to excavate this location. Artifacts dating to 1650 have been recovered, including Native American tools, pieces of dolls, guns, and buttons. The kind of things that would be intentionally or inadvertently disposed of behind a trading post. Personal items, well-used tools, and other things that traditionally attract and maintain a ghostly population continue to be unearthed. Oh, absolutely, Rena. You're more than welcome. The first church built in 1791 was dedicated to San Carlos Borromeo, and the town became known as San Carlos, Missouri, St. Charles of the Missouri. St. Charles, man. Just the name of that place brings back like the church, like just the name of the church. I'm getting off topic here. Daniel Boone and his family were the first American-born Europeans to settle in the region, and the Spanish Lieutenant Governor, Carlos de Lassus, appointed him commandant of the Femme Osage district. Boone served in that post until 1804. At the time, in the name of the town, San Carlos, was anglicized to become St. Charles. The stretch of river at St. Charles is known to be a power place. Power places are often created when people live in one location for a very long time. People have been living on the banks of this river for at least 3,000 years. Before Eastern settlers arrived, by some accounts, perhaps even longer, a short distance east, perhaps 2 days overland, is the mound settlement at Cahokia. Rena messaged me that because I believe I know what you're talking about. Which school? Just message me to clarify. Um, in this day, this was the largest settlement of Native Americans on the continent. The fate of this prehistoric people is unknown, but the city thrived until about 1200 CE. By 1400, the site was abandoned, and the reasons for the civilization's decline continue to be the subject of many archaeological debates. In 1821, Missouri was granted statehood. Politicians decided to build a city of Jefferson in the center of the state, which is Missouri state capital, Jefferson City, overlooking the Missouri River. Um, Oh wait, no, this land was undeveloped, so temporary capital was needed. St. Charles housed a temporary state capital until 1826. Free meeting space for the legislature was located in the rooms above Peck's hardware store. This site has been restored and today is one of the smallest state parks in Missouri. John Baptiste Point du Sable, a Haitian of African and French descent, built the first trading post later to form the core of modern-day Chicago. Okay, thank you. Um, He moved to St. Charles in 1813, died here in 1818. He was buried in an unmarked grave at St. Charles Cemetery near Main Street, which I know where that is. In 1968, the city erected a granite marker in the current Barmayo Cemetery, but the grave is reportedly empty. Reportedly, but it's really not, actually. When you sit on the banks of the Missouri River, it does not take much of imagination to feel and perhaps even smell the ghosts lingering here. Distant conversations from nearby Main Street could easily be mixed with bingo, gotcha, Rena. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, no. I know what you're talking about. Hmm. Yo, what was that one? Um, hey, Jules, are you still in the chat as well? Because I have a question for you. I feel like you would know. Smell goes. Main Street could easily mix with spectral voices hundreds of years old. The slow-moving water still suggests wakes left by canoes, flatboats, or even steamboats. Faint wood smoke from modern restaurants drifts to the light breeze. Out odors unchanged from food prepared in 1750. St. Charles is the second oldest city in Missouri and one of the oldest cities in the United States. For most of its history, okay, what university here had where is that Exorcist house located? The one that inspired the Exorcist movie. I know that was like at a university or something. Was it UMSL? I believe it was UMSL. I'm not entirely sure, but I know we have the Exorcist house here, and I don't remember where it is. I don't want to go visit it. I honestly don't, because that place is evil as all hell. But I don't know where it was, or where it is, I mean. St. Charles is the second oldest city in Missouri and one of the oldest cities in the United States. For most of its history, it could have walked out of any bad Western movie. There have been shootings in the street, prostitution. Hangings, and even a few lynchings. Yeah, no, I was thinking UMSL. I wasn't entirely sure, but yeah, no, guys, if you don't know, if you watch the movie The Exorcist, we have the Exorcist house somewhere in Missouri, like where the real life events that the movie was based off of happened. And my God, it's horrifying. I know Ghost Adventures did an investigation there, and it was some of the scariest shit I have ever seen. Thousands of people were born here and died here, living very mundane lives. However, these are not the people who tend to leave ghosts. The scoundrels, the criminals, and the victims of the traumatic events there are the ones who cannot. Yeah, no, I've heard of Belnor. Who cannot or will. These are the ones who cannot or will not rest. Here are some of their stories. So this is the haunted timeline. It just pretty much sums up what we went over already. So I'm going to skip that for right now. Yeah, no, I have heard of Belnor. Is it by the zoo? Is the house by the zoo? Is it? Yeah, is that place by the zoo though? And yeah, guys, obviously, since Little Mel put the address in here, please, 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 um, do not go to the house. It's still owned by somebody. Nobody lives there, but it is owned by somebody, and there is something very evil there. So please, please, please do not go to this house. If you go there and you get caught, you're trespassing and all that stuff, but please do not go to this house. It's not good either way. If you get caught by the police or something bad happens to you there because of the evil spirit there, just don't go to this house, guys. Like, I'm begging you, please. If you do go there, I'm not responsible for what happens to you guys, obviously, but I'm just saying, please do not go there. If you just respect the property, respect the spirits. Just don't go there, guys. Please, like, legit, please don't go there. But yeah, Jules, is that by the zoo? St. Charles is a small town on the north bank of the Missouri, about 21 miles from its confluence with the Mississippi. It is situated in a narrow plain sufficiently high to protect it from the annual risings of the river in the month of June, and at the foot of a range of small hills, which have been occasioned its being called Petite Côte, a name by which is more known to the French than by that of St. Charles. Unabridged Journal of Meriwether Lewis, 1814 expedition. Bloody hell! I actually may have driven by that house. Actually, now that I really think about it, because when I used to work on the food truck, we went to we drove past some really sketchy houses on the way to downtown, and yeah, no, I really, really do believe that I may have actually seen this house. I don't know. Yeah, no, I may have seen the Umsel Church. No, yeah, no, and I know people, like, the house is right next to it. There's literally people living in the houses right next door to this haunted house. Um, but I mean, like, the house is still preserved and everything, but my God, I can't remember if I've seen this place or not, and it's bothering me. Yeah, no, it sounds really familiar. I may have seen this house. I don't know. I really don't know. And I don't want to investigate it. That's like one place I really don't want to investigate. But yeah, no, that house looks extremely, extremely familiar. Oh, Jules, I love that little logo. But no, I've legit think I've driven by this house and not have thought anything of it. Fucking hell, man. That's scary as all fuck. Hmm. Yeah, no, I don't want to investigate that place, honestly, though. That place is just pure evil, and I don't want to step foot in it. I haven't even seen the movie The Exorcist. I don't know if I really want to. But yeah, no, that house is pure evil, and I don't want to step foot in that. I know Ghost Adventures did. They're much, much braver than I am. But yeah, no, I do not want to go into that house. On May 14th, 1804, William Clark and the Corps of Discovery left Camp River du Bois. They met Meriwether Lewis in St. Charles on May 16th. The expedition intended to chart the course of the Missouri and Columbia rivers westward to the Pacific Ocean. The Lewis and Clark expedition is well known, but at the same time, many other details are overlooked. It was probably the most successful and well-documented major expedition in modern history. The group left St. Charles on May 20th, 1804. It was the last established town the men would visit for 2 years and 132 days. The party consisted of 40 men, 3 boats, and a number of dogs. The only dog mentioned in the journals is by the name of Seaman. And no, it's not like cum. It's literally his name is Seaman, like Seaman. But yeah, no, it's not a porn star, I promise. A Newfoundland, but some accounts claim there was at least 4 other large dogs on the roster. While preparing for the expedition, Lewis visited a group of scientists in Philadelphia for instruction in the natural sciences, astronomical navigation, and field medicine. It is believed that during this period, Lewis purchased Seaman, his dog of the Newfoundland breed, to accompany the corpse on the expedition to the Pacific. He paid $20 for the animal, quite a large sum at the time. The dogs are not listed on the roster of the party that embarked from the staging area at Camp Du Bois. The only documentary clue we have existing is a scrap of interleaf page preceding the first entry where Sergeant Charles Floyd's tattered longhand journal dated May 14th, 1804. The note states cryptically, "Our dogs," which means dogs, like plural. We can easily imagine the dogs riding in the boats or trotting along the shore, hunting with the men, even though the journals do not record the dog's daily activities. Captain Lewis first mentioned his dog in a journal entry on September 11th, 1803, before the meeting at St. Charles. "I made my dog take as many squirrels each day as I had occasion for. They were fat, and I thought them when fried a pleasant food. Many of these squirrels were black. They swim very light on the water and make pretty good speed. My dog was of the Newfoundland breed, very active, strong, and docile. He would take the squirrels in water, kill them, and swimming bring them into his mouth onto the boat." The dogs next appear in Captain Clark's journal dated August 25th, 1804. "Captain Lewis and myself concluded to go see the mound, which was viewed with such terror by all different nations in this quarter, which the Indians call Mountain of the Little People, or Spirits. At 6 miles, our dogs were so heated and fatigued, we was obliged to send them back to the creek." When I said dogs, so that's plural. The location of the original St. Charles campsite is well known and well marked, located in what is now Frontier Park. In other words, the marker is in the wrong. Let me see. There is a marker at 800 South Main, the closest point that would be convenient. In other words, this marker is in the wrong place. According to a newspaper article from 1964, while the actual location of McNair's Landing, a plaque at the river site, would go unnoticed by the general public, it was decided to use the Main Street location. Today, a simple metal sign marks the actual location in the center of Frontier Park. You will find a statue of Lewis and Clark and Seaman. The names and breeds of the other dogs in the expedition are not known. Reportedly, 2 of the dogs died while they were here, and they were buried somewhere in the area. The actual cause of death is not known, but some believe the Native Americans, having never seen animals of this type, thought they were food animals. For that matters, Lewis, Seaman's master, wrote that he liked the taste of dog meat when it was served to the corpse. Clark said that he would not eat dog meat, so he might have not known that they killed the dogs and fed it to him. A Newfoundland can be immense. It is not unusual for a dog of this breed to run more than 150 pounds. They love to swim. It is almost impossible to keep them out of the water, and their front paws are actually webbed. They have a thick, rough coat, and unfortunately, when they get wet, they stink for days. There are many stories about animals returning from the grave. The experience can be auditory, perhaps hearing the animal bark or howl or mew. In some cases, an odor is left behind. Many people have experience with cherished family pets returning for a final visit, or perhaps to say goodbye. The departed animals may brush against a leg or lick an outstretched hand. Sometimes there is an actual visual apparition, if nothing else, an elusive but familiar flicker at the edge of vision. And I want to show you guys, that is the statue at Frontier Park with Lewis Clark and the dog Seaman. At the south end of Main Street, the oldest part of St. Charles, a number of people have seen two big dogs moving down the middle of the street. They are described as big, with rough black coats and no legs. It is possible these people are seeing the spirits of the two dogs walking on the original street, which is about 20 inches below the current street. The animals are first seen near the banks of Blanchette Creek. They move down the road about 50 feet and finally fade away near the Blanchette trading post. They have been seen by a number of people, usually in late spring, April or May. We're going there April or May, guys. Got it? Unfortunately, journals and archives do not keep detailed birth, death, and marriage records about dogs, and in that light, it is impossible to find any additional documentation for these spirits. However, these simple creekside sightings are not the only record. Managers of a nearby restaurant maintain that on occasion, late night, they will smell wet dog and hear what sounds to be two dogs playing or fighting on the patio area. Maybe the ghost dogs are competing for a scrap of food left behind by a patron. Sometimes one of the serving tables will be bumped, and on one occasion, a table was accidentally knocked over during these auditory displays. A week before Halloween in 2009, a woman came out of the bar, paused on a sidewalk, and exclaimed loudly, "Hey, who didn't take a shower?" She stumbled to the middle of the street, stopped again, and said, "I smell a wet dog." Here is the frightening part of the story. She managed to unlock her car, get in, and drive away. No one is certain of what happened to Seaman and the other dogs, but an interesting clue had been discovered in a book published by educator Timothy Alden in 1814. Alden writes about a visit to a museum in Alexandria, Virginia. At the museum, he viewed a dog collar with the inscription that read, "The greatest traveler of my species. My name is Seaman, the dog, of Captain Meriwether Lewis, whom I accompanied to the Pacific Ocean through the interior of the continent of North America." Alden continued, "The foregoing was copied from the collar in the Alexandria Museum, which the late Governor Lewis's dog wore after his return from the western coast of America. The fidelity and attachment of this animal were remarkable. After the melancholy exit of Governor Lewis, his dog would not depart for a moment from his lifeless remains, and when they were deposited in the earth, no gentle means could draw him from the spot of interment. He refused to take every kind of food which was offered to him, and actually pinned away and died with grief upon his master's grave." It is known William Clark donated some items to a museum in Alexandria in 1812. However, in 1871, a fire destroyed most of the museum, and its contents were no longer its contents. We are left to wonder exactly what happened to Seaman and the other dogs that traveled with the corpse. It is easy to imagine a large ghostly dog sitting on the grave of William Clark, howling in abject grief. Ooh, we're doing a good time. The building at 912 South Main is currently called Millstream Restaurant, but up until recently it is known as the Miller's Daughter. It was built by a miller, and he lived here with his daughter until about 1920. We do not know the daughter's name, but everyone calls her Molly. I've heard about this one. The family was religious and anti-alcohol. Ironically, for the last 25 years, this building had been a bar. In life, Molly was not happy. Her mother died giving birth to her, and soon childhood infections destroyed Molly's hearing. She never did learn to talk well, and her disability isolated her from everybody and everything. She lived alone in a silent world. There were no special schools available, and many of the people in town treated her as if she was tainted or even infectious. Some said she was cursed. Her only companion was a tiny black cat named Louie. Her cat added to the superstitious fear of the people in town. According to stories, when Molly was about 14 years old, her cat fell from the slippery rocks above Blanchette Creek and was lost. Molly could not be consoled, and a few days later she committed suicide. One night she put on her nightgown and waited until everything was quiet after her father was asleep, and she hanged herself down the dumbwaiter shaft in the corner of the kitchen. The town was shocked but did not seem to grieve. Some even said good riddance. That's fucked up, man. She was just a kid. Oh, I've seen this. This was the restaurant. That's Molly's home where she lived when she was alive. Let me check. I also have a song stuck in my head from the new Steven Universe Future episode that aired yesterday. Step by step, the little blackbird builds his nest. Oh my god, fucking kill me. Actually, yeah, I don't know. Her father was devastated, first his wife and then his daughter. He hung on for a short time but finally sold the building and moved on. No one knows where he went. The building was vacant until the current owner moved in and opened a bar in the lower level. For many years, it operated as a quiet neighborhood watering hole, the kind of place loved by locals but not trendy enough for tourists. There's a pleasant outdoor courtyard on the banks of the creek with restful shade trees in the summer and fire pits with the aromatic flames in the cooler months. Almost as soon as the new business opened, strange things began to happen. Most of the time, the bar was not very busy. Regular customers visited to unwind after a long workday. Others came to indulge in pleasant conversations or to meet with friends. Of course, it was a popular place to have a few drinks and watch the game on the television above the bar. Business might be slow, but it was good. There was a wide selection of beers and an extensive collection of collectible beer steins. At first, it was little things. Late-night patrons would see a faint outline of a young girl in an old-fashioned nightdress suspended in the corner above the bar. Others would hear a crash and fall, but would not see anything. I know, right? Sad. Ooh. Something stuck to me. In the service area, there was a closet used to store cleaning equipment. When the bar gets a bit rowdy, the bartenders will often joke, "You guys better settle down or Molly is going to be upset." Because that's how everyone talks in Missouri. We all talk like rednecks. Well, that's mostly southern Missouri. Occasionally, on nights like these, the door of the cleaning closet would be blocked from the inside. A mop or a broom might cross the opening. Sometimes a big bucket of cleaning chemicals will be pushed up against the door. Some people believe that Molly is still hiding in the small room, trying to keep the energy of the activity outside. About 1950, Molly's bedroom was divided and converted into restrooms. A second door was added for men, but the existing door was reused for women. In life, Molly had no friends, and the bedroom in the lower level of the substantial brick building became her sanctuary. She could not hear the noise, but she was sensitive to the treatment she received. It was a private space just for Molly and her cat. Several times in the last few years, when someone goes into the women's restroom, the door will slam shut and the lights will go out. Naturally, the person trapped inside pounds on the door and tries to get help, but no one seems to hear. Yeah, we do say wash. I say wash, but it's almost as if the sound will not pass through the door. One cannot help but be reminded of the silence that Molly endured. Oh yeah, no, I know that. I feel bad for her. After a few minutes, the door gently releases and the lights come back on. Everything is back to normal. Management has not ignored these incidents. The door has been checked and even replaced, but it does not seem to matter. Perhaps on occasion Molly just wants a bit of privacy. Outside, a courtyard runs along the banks of Blanchett Creek. The creek edge is worn and flaky, but a decorative wooden fence keeps patrons safely away from the hazardous edge. It is usually quiet and many people will sit in the comfortable chairs and enjoy pleasant summer drinks. However, more than once, the tranquility has been violated as a piece of weathered bank breaks away and falls into the shallow but swift creeks below. Some people even report hearing what could be the anguished wail of a cat as the stones fall into the water. At least twice, people have made their way down to the creek bed, convinced that a helpless animal needs rescue. Nothing has ever been found. No displaced stones, no helpless cat, nothing. For more than 20 years, Millstream has been a quiet little bar, but in 2004 it expanded the main level and became a typically active sports bar. There were more customers, more energy, and much more activity in the building. Finally, on a busy night in middle of August, there was a fire. Oh, I know where this place is now. The fire started small and was not noticed immediately, but when smoke finally filled the room, it was more than a fire extinguisher could handle. Emergency services were called and no one was hurt. But before the bar was completely cleared, the loyal customers formed a line and passed all the collectible mugs hand to hand outside to safety. No one has ever figured out what caused the fire. It could have just been sparks from the smoker, but the smoker was not in use that day. It could have been electrical, but there was no electrical equipment in the area where the fire started. Some say oily rags in the storage closet, but the cleanup crew was always careful. Anything hazardous was always handled correctly. The bar was closed for a long time while the investigation was conducted. Finally, the insurance company settled. Without a firm conclusion, the fire occurred and the building was damaged, but no one could find the underlying cause. They may never know what caused the fire, but many people think that one night Molly just lost her temper and burned the place down. The Millstream restaurant is open today. The lower level is still a neighborhood bar, but the upstairs is a quiet, classy restaurant. The downstairs bar still gets rowdy sometimes, and on occasion, someone will see a ghostly figure of Molly hanging in the corner once or twice a year. Once or twice a year, management will not be able to get into the storage closet, and when the restroom door jams, everyone in the bar knows about it. And once in a while, on a quiet summer afternoon, someone will hear a cat fall into the creek. If you listen carefully, you may also hear a young girl crying inconsolably. I can read one more chapter of this book and then I'll call it for the night. I like reading this book to you guys, so I may pick this up again actually sometime this week because this Friday, I work Friday, so this Sunday is going to be my Christmas special. And I actually got a wonderful idea for that. We're going to be taking a look at I haven't eaten there, but my God, I know that. But yeah, no, I know the place. But yeah, Sunday is going to be my Christmas special. We're going to be reviewing some old Victorian Christmas cards and just looking at those because some of them are funny, some of them are absolutely horrifying. But we're going to be looking at some of those for my Christmas special. I kind of got the idea from this one YouTuber. If you guys have heard of Jessie V, give her a follow. Her and her cousin looked at those cards today, but I want to show them to you guys as well, just because they're so weird. I'm excited for that Christmas special, so that's going to be Sunday. But yeah, sometime during this week, I'm going to read some more of this book, but I'm going to read one more chapter before we sign off here, because I got time. The Old Wooden Mill. The historical markers on the corner of South Main Street and Boone's Lick Road can be a bit confusing. A bronze plaque seems to date the building to 1769 and describes it as a grits mill. The sign seems to indicate that the building is the oldest building in St. Charles, but in fact, the marker simply records the site of the original grits mill. built by Louis Blanchette, that has long since been destroyed. The current building only dates to 1851 and was known as the Woolen Mill. For many years, it supplied woolen blankets and other woolen goods to the United States government for military use. It employed more than 100 people. According to a newspaper article dated May 17, 1861, a regiment of Union troops came to St. Charles from St. Louis, taking full possession of the town. All men who did not take the oath of allegiance were herded and marched to the military prison. They took every gun and every rifle they could find, and the local militia was renamed St. Charles Cadet Co. These were dark and unhappy days here. I'm good, I just choked on some spit. In 1863, the Union government seized a number of buildings in St. Charles, including the Woolen Mill. For the rest of the Civil War, the location was a hospital and prison. After the war, and until 1872, the mill was once again operated by the Woolen Mills Company of St. Charles, which now specialized in the manufacturing of stockings. Apparently, after the company's bad experiences during the war, it avoided military contracts and produced only consumer products. The company was in operation until about 1881. And here's a picture of the original Woolen Mill. When competition put it out of business, the building was vacant for several years. Tradition says that old Doc Carr of St. Charles invented the corncob pipe, which we know he lived at 520 South Main in 1850. With the corncob pipe and a button nose and 2 eyes made out of coal. I was going to try and make a penis joke, but I couldn't. Yeah, you would, Lily. You would. He smoked a pipe and he enjoyed a sweet smoke. Supposedly, one night he dreamed about a pipe made from a corn cob. He spent hours whittling and finally perfected a fine but inexpensive pipe in his old age. He whittled away and made a bit of money selling his popular pipes for 5 cents each. He sold every pipe he made. In 1892, Doc opened a factory in the Woolen Mill building, the Missouri Corncob Pipe Factory. Taking advantage of Doc's success, there were at least 2 other small corncob pipe factories in St. Charles, one at 2nd and Clark Streets and other listed at 2nd and Jefferson. Farmers sold suitable corn cobs to the factories for cash, and records show that in the first year at Doc's facility alone, 2,256,929 pipes were made. 48 men were employed, working 6 days a week. Records show that these pipes were shipped to buyers from Maine to the Pacific coast and from the Gulf to the Great Lakes. The pipes usually sold for 10 cents, and each were advertised to make a superior and delightful sweet smoke. By 1897, the demand was so great that the capacity was increased to 125 gross per day. Also, guys, just occurred to my mind, this is a PSA. Don't smoke, it's bad for your health, and so is vaping. Vaping and smoking are bad, so don't do it, kids. If you have a loved one that smokes, tell them to stop. This lily pipe was often called the Missouri meerschaum. St. Charles gained a reputation for corncob pipes, but soon there was a competition. Oh yeah, no, World's Fair. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Jules. At the World's Fair. Missouri had produced a better pipe. A lawsuit was filed. It seemed that Doc Carr I was gonna do like a little sniff glue joke, but YouTube's been taking shit down like a lot of people's channels. So yeah, no, actually no. I was gonna do a sniff glue joke, but don't sniff glue. Just don't eat glue. Don't do anything. Just use glue for paper and for other things. Sticky. A lawsuit was filed. It seemed that Doc Carr had never applied for a patent, and as a result, the Missouri Corncob Pipe Factory was forced to close. Once again, at least officially, the building was vacant. Records for the next few years are vague. Most accounts describe the building as a residence, but most likely it was simply used by squatters. Fucking squatters, man. Vagrants and the homeless, stories of domestic violence, assault, and prostitution appear in various articles, journals, and personal letters. The building was not maintained, but remained structurally sound. Apparently the town simply ignored the site and hoped the problems and the people living there would simply go away. The building was sold in 1922, and Sarah Fraser used the building to produce canned tomato products. The company did well for several years and employed more than 125 people. Fraser's tomato soup and tomato sauce became famous and were sold all over the country. In addition, Fraser was a Christian Science reader and was instrumental in building the first Christian Science church in St. Charles. She spent more and more time with her religious interests, and the company closed in about 1949. Now, religion always interests me, so if you guys don't know what Christian Science is, I'm not entirely sure, but I think they believe that that like if you pray to that, like they don't believe like in like taking medicine and everything if you're sick. I think they believe that like praying to God or something will cure you of your illness. I'm not entirely sure, but I could be wrong. Correct me if I am wrong, but yeah. The building was then remodeled and occupied by Stemco Manufacturing for a short time. The factory produced specialized truck equipment, bearings, seals, and hubcaps. Stemco moved to Texas in 1958, and again the building was empty. It's almost as if the building could not decide what it wanted to be. It's just a phase, guys. During the 1960s, St. Charles Main Street was in decline, and many buildings were empty. The woolen mill building was neglected. It was probably used by squatters once again. I like squatters. I don't like squatters. At that time, the St. Charles Historical Preservation Society wrote a series of articles and editorials about the attractive, formidable building. According to newspaper accounts, the building is sound, the handmade brick walls beautifully preserved, the walnut beams are as strong as the day it was built. We cannot continue to neglect this building. Their campaign had impact. Sometime around 1970, the building changed again. A restaurant and a brewery opened on the site. If you are not confused yet, you should be. The building is a chameleon. And with every change, more information is added to the accounts. Today it remains a successful restaurant and brewery. Thousands of people are a bit the markers on the building are a bit confusing. The building's history is complex and confusing. The stories about each resident ghost are unconventional. Complex and confusing. Each time the building changes, more stories come to light. The location seems to retain a bit of energy from each phase, and a number of ghostly stories are told. And, Jules, if this place actually sounds familiar to you, then it should, because this is literally the Trails Head restaurant. Like, if that looks familiar to you, the wooden wheel by the creek, yeah, that is Trails Head, or what was I know Trails Head. I think they changed their name or something. In active areas, let me see. Complex and confusing each time the building changes, more stories come to light. The location seems to retain a bit of energy from each phase, and a number of ghostly stories are told. In an active area such as Main Street, there is often what is called a generic or repeating ghost. For example, in Colorado, many stories are told of a mysterious man in buckskins and an indistinct figure in Native American costume. In Chicago, everyone seems to have a gangster living in their basement. The repeating ghost in St. Charles seems to be a male and female ghost. In some cases, it is a Victorian couple. At the winery, it is a French couple. At least 3 locations, including Woolen Mill, report forms of these ghosts. At the mill, they are just a simple couple dressed in common clothes. They are seen wandering all over the building on every floor and sometimes in midair, walking on floors that were removed years ago, which in this case, this would be a residual haunting, because they act out like they're... Because residual hauntings is like the energy left behind of a person when they died, and that energy like acts out like everything that it did when the person was alive. So let's just say, like, you see a ghost walk through a wall. There may have not been a wall there, and it's just a normal walkway to it. Same with the ghost with the floor. There were floors there at one point, but now they're not. They are sometimes described as victims of the Great Depression, or perhaps there is no corroborating evidence. And if you ask the employees about any ghosts, here, this is the story they will share. There are no first-hand accounts, and the story seems to get bigger and bigger as time passes. More details are added as new bartenders are hired, and like many urban legends, the story has acquired a life of its own. Ghosts are popular these days, and according to residents up and down Main Street, every single building is haunted. We know it is not the case. It is likely that the ghost couple provides a good explanation for strange sounds, unexpected events in the old building late at night. Spooky, but not necessarily ghostly. Essentially, yeah. Jules, essentially, yeah. However, in addition to the generic man and woman, some longtime employees have reported seeing a man in a Civil War uniform in the back service area. In contrast, this manifestation does have significant credibility. The stories come from independent sources, from witnesses who are not familiar with the history of the building. According to nearby residents, a Ouija board revealed the ghost's name is Albert. He was a Confederate officer who had been imprisoned here by the Union Army during the Civil War. Now, guys, that is something I'm never going to do. Play with the Ouija board. Those things are scary. Those things can, like, open portals and, like, let things in, and it's not safe to do them. So I don't like Ouija boards, and that's something I'll never do. During the seance, Albert also revealed that he owned many slaves as he could get his hands on. Historically, the building was a woolen mill, a corncob pipe factory, a truck parts manufacturing facility, a tomato products factory, and a residence. The other functions and owners are more or less forgotten. When the building was a hospital and a prison, beyond any doubt, more than one person died here. In some cases, witnesses report a man in a gravy uniform, so others say it's blue. Finally, at the grounds surrounding the building, images of Native Americans are seen. Some accounts there were several battles near the creek, and bodies have fallen into the creek, according to some stories, where were thrown into the creek and not. In some stories, some were thrown in the creek and not buried. An early historical account tells of a man named John Johnson. It says he never let an opportunity pass to slay a red man. Okay, no, that's his words, guys. That's not my words. I'm reading the book. Oh my god. On one occasion, he saw an Indian disguised as a buffalo, wearing a hide with the horns attached. The disguise was so transparent that he was not fooled at all. Making a wide circuit, Johnson came in behind the man and sent him speeding on his way to the happy hunting ground. For more than 5 years after the murder, Johnson, dressed in the dead man's garb, never slept in a house, and continued his personal irrational campaign. He was known to often sleep with nothing but the heavens for shelter in the area surrounding the early woolen mill. By some reports, he murdered perhaps 20 more members of the Algonquian and Osage tribes. This guy was horrible. The stories coming from the old woolen mill continue to change and multiply. A local paranormal group has been investigating the man in uniform, and there may be solid basis for the story. A recent overnight investigation yielded several interesting photographs and more than one unexplainable energy reading EMF. The ghost couple continues to be reported mostly as stories from the servers, bartenders, and slightly inebriated customers. Still, it cannot be denied the building was interesting, and the research will continue. The tragedy of the Civil War, the violence of the murders, and the sadness of the homeless people, any or all of these elements could account for the activity that is reported. The owners, the employees, customers continue to keep watch. And with that, we're gonna stop for the night. We are on page 37. I'm gonna be picking this up again on Wednesday, guys. On Wednesday, and Michael Henry, he has a Facebook page, guys. Check him out. I would like to interview this man at some point, because he seems like a very, very interesting man, and I would like to interview him. So, remind me, guys, page 37, this is going to be picked up on Wednesday again, like I said, but I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. You can dislike it if you dislike it. I heard if you dislike it, I can't think of anything. This is a really good book. So you can feel free to dislike it if you dislike it, but I really would appreciate if you like this video. This Friday, like I said, it's going to be my Christmas stream. Sunday, Sunday. My streams are now Sunday because I seem to work almost every Friday. But, yep, Sunday, I'm going to be doing my Christmas stream. So, Wednesday, I am going to be reading more from this book. And from the looks of it, I might do like a double stream Wednesday and Thursday, so we could actually get farther in this book and possibly finish it. So yep, we'll do a double stream, actually a triple stream this week. We're going to do Wednesday, Thursday. I'm going to read this book. Friday's going to be my Christmas stream. We're going to be looking at those old Victorian Christmas cards and all that. But yeah, and also guys, if you're new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button, become a member of the Crypto Crew today. I'm trying to reach 200 subscribers by the new year. I'm so close. There's going to be a new series announced at 200 subscribers, as well as some other announcements that are going to be coming up. So please help me reach 200 subscribers, guys. If you have any fans, not fans, when I say fans, if you have any friends, family members, acquaintances, your strange Uncle Joe, who's into paranormal and cryptids and stuff, shoot them this channel and tell them to subscribe. And yeah, I would love to do that. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching this channel. For all my Missouri peeps, stay safe this week with the snow, and as well as everyone else, stay safe as well. And I hope you guys have a very, very, very great week and a very, very safe time doing whatever you need to do this week. So with that being said, guys, you've been watching Cryptocast. I've been your host, Parker. Stay spooky, and I'll see you guys in the next video.